What's up guys, my name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and welcome back to the channel. There are millions of games out there to play, some of them single player and some of them multiplayer, some of them expensive and some cheap. But what if those of us who can't buy those expensive new titles want a new game? Or what if you want to play something good without the price tag to see if you actually like it first? Well, that's where free-to-play games come into the picture. There's a lot of free-to-play games nowadays. It's a model so many developers are seeming to use. And it's not just MMORPGs anymore that are free, it's FPS games, battle royales, MOBAs, and other genres. In this video, I'll be doing another video on the top 10 free-to-play games, but I'll be adding some of the best free-to-play games on Steam to the list. We'll be checking out some of the best free-to-play games out there on Steam this year and why you should play each of them. These games all have an active player base, a lot of them with a high population too. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10, Star Wars: The Old Republic. A recent arrival to Steam in the last month or two, Star Wars: The Old Republic is BioWare's answer to fans craving another Star Wars MMORPG game, spawned most likely due to the outcry behind the shutting down of the original Star Wars MMO, Star Wars Galaxies. This game puts you in the center of your own story-driven Star Wars experience where you can play as a Sith or Jedi, bounty hunter, smuggler, or many other subtypes of both light and dark factions. This game is set in a galaxy far, far away in the Old Republic era, infamous for Mandalorians, insanely powerful Sith Lords like Darth Revan, and other legendary characters. This game has so many hours of gameplay in it, and I played it a ton a few years ago. What's more, it even has some really great expansion packs too. It's entirely free to play or accessed via a subscription if you want to play the expansions and extend the gameplay time when you complete the base game content. As a big World of Warcraft player a few years ago back in the day, it was hard to find another MMORPG which I enjoyed because some of them just seemed to be worse copies, but the Old Republic is actually one of the ones that I have to add to the list of good MMOs that I actually enjoyed. Number 9, Sven Co-op. A classic released in 1999, Sven Co-op still holds up to this day and actually still receives regular updates more than 20 years later. This mod is one of those timeless classics that flourishes due to community support and the sheer love for it. It's based on the Gold Source engine, and its concept is basically to bring the player base a fully cooperative game based around Valve's original Half-Life. But it's become so much more than that in the past few years. Not only can you play the whole of the Half-Life campaign entirely cooperative, you can also play the entire opposing force or Blue Shift expansion pack campaigns too for Half-Life, along with hundreds of custom maps, scenarios and campaigns made by the community, which is just like playing extra games. This game is completely free and it deserves a spot on this list just for how nostalgic it is and how fun it can still be in the current year. Playing Half-Life entirely co-op has always been something that people wanted, and it's still really fun to this day to play. Number 8, No More Room in Hell. I used to play this one a few years ago with one of my mates and I really enjoyed it. I appreciated it because of how unique it was at the time, because it started off as a pretty humble mod for Half-Life 2 and it runs on the game's source engine. Since then it's become a standalone game and they're even planning a completely new sequel to it on a different engine sometime near in the future. In this game you have to survive during a zombie apocalypse through a series of diverse and complex maps, each with their own objective and challenges to overcome. The interesting thing about this game is that during co-op play you can fight versus zombies, but if you get bitten you will slowly succumb to the infection and die. When you die, your player will be replaced by an AI controlled zombie, which is basically a bot that's stronger than the standard zombies in the map and that will attack your teammates. From AKs to fire axes and shotguns, there's a ton of weapons to use on this game, and you can play on large open city maps or fight through the hordes of zombies in the mall. This is one to check out and play. Number 7, Iron Sight. Now, being run by a different studio since the last 1 or 2 months before this video, Iron Sight is a super fast paced online FPS game with future and modern warfare combat elements to it. This game has more than 50 different weapons, all with the option to use a ton of attachments along with them. You can use equipment like tactical drones or scanning objects to find your enemy's position. You have kill streaks like these drones, or planned airstrikes, and a few other options. We played Ironside a lot around a year or two ago, and I really enjoyed it mostly because of the sounds, the charming graphics, and the fact that the shooting in this game actually plays really well and is genuinely actually fair. The guns don't have ridiculously hard or overbearing recoil patterns, and it feels good to play. It's great for casual players because it's super easy to learn and the shooting is really fun and easy. I only ever ran into 2 cheaters on this game, 2 at the most, which is really great and impressive for an FPS game where cheaters usually run rampant, and we managed to get the top of the leaderboard with 20 to 30 kills multiple times. I'd recommend checking this game out if you want a free to play FPS game that won't disappoint, and if you're not great in PvP and find that most players are better than you, then you can always play versus bots in Ironside 2, which is still really fun. Number 6, Realm Royale. One of my favourite Battle Royale titles that doesn't get as much love as it deserves is Realm Royale. Now, I've not played this game in a long time, but Realm Royale is basically Battle Royale meets medieval fantasy. This BR game is very similar to the experience that you'll have in Fortnite. The game is basically Fortnite in an old-fashioned setting. It plays well, feels well, and has good graphics. You can wield magical staffs, rifles, swords, and there's different classes which you can play on, different spells, and there's multiple types of weapon pickups of different qualities that go all the way up to legendary, which can be equipped. This game is a very unique concept and it's super enjoyable. There's always a new battle pass with new skins and emotes to earn every season, a ranked mode, and a decent level of players still keeping the game alive. Number 5, Ring of Elysium. A game I played probably for around 30 hours. Ring of Elysium is a battle royale game which offers a very similar experience to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, yet it runs better and easier on lower end machines, and it has faster paced gameplay and better shooting mechanics. Just like PUBG, it also offers first person and third person game mode options depending on the way that you like to play. There's a large scale open map with very similar battle royale mechanics that you could expect to see from similar titles like Fortnite. There's a brand new desert map called Vera that has been released since I played, and you have to avoid the zone, which is basically a nuclear storm that approaches the map. There's awesome vehicles around the map to use and a lot of different types of guns and weapons that you can utilize. To win the map, you basically have to be either the last man standing or one of the last few people to reach the helicopter to escape at the end. This usually results in some really intense and gripping showdowns at the end of the game to reach the extraction point. Usually there's also a lot of camping and desperation from players who try to use different strategies to win the game. Team Fortress 2. One title that's always maintained a decent level of popularity over the years is Team Fortress 2 from Valve. This is one of my favourite games of all time, and since its release back in 2007, it's still maintained its place as one of the top played games on Steam. Although it doesn't really receive as many updates nowadays, there's still some annual updates and the game is in a good place. The community keeps the game alive and there's always custom maps on the workshop to play and a lot of things that you can still do. This game is great for players who love to trade and collect items on Steam, as they can go on trade servers to trade weapons and skins. You can play casual modes like Capture the Flag on classic maps like Two Fort or Dust Bowl, some of my personal favourites, or push the cart mode called Gold Rush, where you push a cart across the map whilst the other team attacks it. There's tons of game modes to play on TF2 and it's very hard to get bored of it. One of my personal favourite modes though on this game, which is unique, is the man vs machine mode. This is one that I played a lot back in the day with friends, and you basically have to fight AI controlled bots. It's players versus robots, and each round gets harder with mini bosses and different types of robots which mirror the standard TF2 classes. There's a lot of classes to play on TF2 like the Pyro, who has a flamethrower, the super speedy Scout who can double jump, or the Spy who goes full espionage mode and can go invisible and take out the opponents with a knife. Number 3, Destiny 2. Developed by Bungie, the studio behind the original first 4 Halo games, Destiny 2 is an action MMO game with a huge world that you can play with friends on. Destiny 2 has a mix of different variations of gameplay in it, which span from large PvE instance levels, dungeons or raids, to PvP battlegrounds. This was a game exclusive for quite a long time on the Battle.net launcher, but last year it came to Steam and a lot of people have been playing ever since. It's a first-person shooting game set in a futuristic sci-fi universe where you can earn and unlock many types and kinds of weapons of different qualities and explore a big galaxy. You try to unlock the mysteries of the solar system and use powerful abilities whilst gaining gear and loot along with it. There's a lot of challenging co-op missions and and there's even DLC for those players who complete most of the vanilla game. These DLC releases are Shadowkeep and Forsaken. It's actually really impressive, the player base on Destiny 2, there's a lot of people constantly playing it, so you should never get worried about finding games or having players to play with or play against. Number 2, Dota 2. A game by Valve based on the original Warcraft mod, Dota or Defense of the Ancients. Dota 2 is a multiplayer online battle arena very similar in regard to League of Legends, where you have a vast collection of heroes to play as versus other players. The great thing about Dota 2 though that makes it stand out from League and other games of its kind is that you don't have to actually purchase the hero characters, they're all unlocked for free from the get-go, which minuses a lot of the dead time you spend grinding points to unlock characters. With over 100 Dota heroes, the game's the second most played title on Steam and is hugely popular. Anyone who wants a good free game that runs on most machines could check out Dota, especially if you want an alternative to League. This game is immensely popular and it always manages to keep a top spot in the top few games on Steam in terms of player counts. There's always a new battle pass that comes out with new missions, there's always new heroes released, and the esports scene on the game is absolutely massive, with Valve putting millions of dollars into the prize pools. It's also pretty big on Twitch too, just like League of Legends is, so it's an immensely popular game in the MOBA genre. Counter-Strike Global Offensive. CSGO still remains the most popular competitive FPS title around and it's played by everyone. There's high requests on this channel for me to make some more CSGO videos in the future, so that's why I decided to feature the game on this list. There are a lot of people around the world still playing CSGO and it remains popular just due to its consistency. There's some annual updates bringing new high quality community maps into the competitive and casual map pool, and every 2 years or so there's a new operation, which is a type of battle pass where players can do challenges to level up a coin that they can display on their profile. The trading and skin scene is still super huge for anyone who's a collector or trader, and there's a lot that you can do. You can 1v1 your friends on the many awesome custom maps on the CSGO workshop by the community. You can play competitive to level up your rank, casual just to socially chill out and play with others, or wingman if you have a best friend that you want to play with in ranked mode but you don't want to play with a full team. Along with that, there's also the gun game mode Arms Race or Deathmatch, which lets you respawn, and it's a lot more fun than playing a competitive game mode. CSGO has been infamous for cheaters in the past, but if you have an account in good standing with your phone number and the Prime mode enabled, it's less of a concern than it used to be, and it can be quite fun to play legit in competitive mode without the worry of dying to aimbotters. If you enjoyed watching, make sure to like the video and subscribe with notifications turned on by clicking the bell for more top 10 videos and gaming videos like this one every single day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.